Let's judge some books by their covers. I'm going to be walking you through the 7 books that I have pre-ordered from the library to read sometime this fall, and then I have a couple, maybe 2 or 3 that I plan to purchase, and then there are 8 that I have selected just purely because of the cover. First, I'll walk through the books that I plan to purchase, and then we'll go on to the books that I have pre-ordered from the library. There, we'll move on up to those books that I'm not sure about yet, and we'll see what the synopsis are. First, we have Nothing Else But Miracles by Kate Albus. Now, this is the 2nd book from this author. The first that I have read is called A Place to Hang the Moon. It's set during World War II, a really heartwarming tale about 3 siblings who are kind of abandoned by their family, and they are sent to live in the countryside during the evacuation, and the focus is really on their relationship as siblings and how they endure. They find a friend in a local librarian, which I think is a really special part of the story, and it was just a great children's book, so I would highly recommend that one if you haven't checked it out yet. And then this new release, it's actually coming out September 5th, is called Nothing Else But Miracles. And this one says in the description, living on their own on Manhattan's Lower East Side, while their pop is off fighting in World War II, 12-year-old Dory Byrne and her brothers discover an abandoned hotel that proves a perfect hideout just when they need it most. I'm excited about this one. It's a middle grade, it's a historical fiction once again, and the keywords that have been used for it are emotional, mysterious, reflective, and medium-paced, which are all up my alley. I'm looking forward to reading that one. Not sure yet if I'm going to go ahead and pre-order it, or if I will just wait till that's out. The one that I have pre-ordered, and I talked about that in my mid-year freak out book tag video, is Alebrijes by Dana Barba Higuera, and that one is magical realism, fantasy. I talk more about it in depth, the plot and everything in that mid-year book tag video, so if you want the full in-depth summary of that book, go ahead and give that a watch next. That one I have pre-ordered from my local bookstore. The other one that I believe I've pre-ordered is Twilight Falls by Juno Black. That is the next installment of the Shady Hollow mystery series. Very cozy series. I have definitely enjoyed my time in it this year, and I'm looking forward to this next chapter. Twilight Falls comes out November 7th, and then we have The Secret Project number 4 by Brandon Sanderson. I don't know the title of this one yet. I don't know if it's been publicized as of yet, but this is due out October 1st. October is my birthday month, so hopefully I will celebrate with some new books. I believe that one is also focused on the character of Hoyd, who is kind of the narrating voice for both Trust of the Emerald Sea and Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. I have not yet completed Yumi the Nightmare Painter. I'm just reading it now, but it's kind of interesting because you have a consistent narrator. You don't really know his full backstory, but he's kind of always there in the background for those 2 books, and I think he is at the center of this book. So that'll be fun. Now we're moving on up to my list of books that I have pre-ordered from the library, starting off with the prequel to Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, and that is Bookshops and Bone Dust. This one is expected to be released November 7th of this year. It's going to be the backstory of the character that we follow in Legends and Lattes and her time while she is working in a small used bookstore. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I expect it to be cozy. I think it's interesting that the author chose to go backward instead of forward in the series. I feel like a lot of authors are doing that lately. They have written a book, it's the first in a whole new world, and they decide, I'm gonna go and give more background because it's gonna help make that first book even stronger. So I'm looking forward to that one. The other is another follow-up, and that is The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose, and that is the sequel to The Maid. The summary for The Mystery Guest says that just as her life reaches a pinnacle state of perfection, Molly's world is turned upside down when J.D. Grimthorpe, the world-renowned mystery author, drops dead, very dead, on the hotel's tea room floor. When Detective Stark, Molly's old foe, investigates the author's unexpected demise, it becomes clear that this death was murder most foul. Suspects abound, and everyone wants to know who killed J.D. Grimthorpe. Was it Lily, the new maid in training? Or was it Serena, the author's secretary? Could Mr. Preston, the hotel's beloved doorman, be hiding something? And is Molly really as innocent as she seems? This is a good unreliable narrator style mystery, and I was entertained by the first book. I'm looking forward to this follow-up as well. This one we're due to see on shelves November 28th. The next on my list is What We Kept to Ourselves by Nancy Juan Kim, the author of The Last Story of Mina Lee, which I really enjoyed. The synopsis for this one indicates that it's set in two different timelines. We have 1999 and 1977. We're following the Kim family, who's struggling to move on after their mother, Sunny, vanished a year ago. And 61-year-old John Kim feels more isolated from his grown children than ever before. But one evening, their fragile lives are further upended when John finds the body of a stranger in the backyard, carrying a letter to Sunny, leaving the family with more questions than ever about the stranger's history and possible connections to their mother. And then back in 1977, we're following Sunny herself, who at the time is pregnant and just moved to LA from Korea. She has an aloof and often absent husband. America is not turning out the way she dreamed it to be, and the loneliness and isolation are broken only by a fateful encounter at a bus stop. The unexpected connection spans the decades and echoes into the family's lives in the present as they uncover devastating secrets that put not only everything they thought they knew about their mother, but their very lives at risk. So I think this is going to be a good page turner. I think that it's going to be emotional and fast-paced, and I'm looking forward to that one. This one is going to be out October 10th. Next on my list is Roman Stories, written by Jhumpa Lahiri and translated by Todd Portonowitz. This is going to be a collection of 9 short stories where the protagonist of those stories is Rome. I'm not a huge short story reader, but I think I make an exception in her case because there is usually a common thread through each of her collections, as in this one where we have Rome at the center, and I'm looking forward to reading that one. So it gives me some vacation vibes, some family, generational story vibes, and it's set in Italy, so you can't lose. That one is going to be out as well on October 10th. Next up, we have Volume 7 of the Murderbot series by Martha Wells, and that is System Collapse. I do still have 2 other books to read. I have books 5 and 6 to read before I can move on to System Collapse, but I am kind of timing that based on when this releases, and I might read those in October. I've been taking a little bit of a pause from the sci-fi world and doing a little bit more fantasy, more contemporary fiction of late. But this one is going to be coming out on November 14th. I don't really want spoilers for this, but I do see Art's name in the summary, which is kind of all I need to know. I'm going to love this one, I think. And it says, everyone's favorite lethal sec unit is back. So, Murderbot Diaries number 7 is coming out soon. Next, we have the 4th book in the Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman, and the synopsis for this one says, shocking news reaches the Thursday Murder Club. An old friend in the antiques business has been killed, and a dangerous package he was protecting has gone missing. As the gang springs into action, they encounter art forgers, online fraudsters, and drug dealers, as well as heartache close to home. With the body count rising, the package still missing, and trouble firmly on their tail, has their luck finally run out? And who will be the last devil to die? That is the title of the next book, and it will be out September 14th. So those are all the books that I have pre-ordered or plan to pre-order from the library. And now we're going to be moving on to books with intriguing covers, and I'm going to walk you through what I like about the covers, and then we're going to look at the synopsis and see if I actually do want to read these books when they come out, or they might already be out. One that I saved is called Rook by William Ritter. This one looks to me like it's fantasy, maybe a little unsettling, mysterious. We have the silhouette of a woman, and then we have another woman who is walking through woods. It looks like there might be some lights in the background, but there's a lot of mist or smoke swirling across the cover on a diagonal. I think the color scheme and the composition of this one is kind of unsettling. It's a standalone adventure set in the world of the New York Times bestselling Jacoby series, which I have not read. Brims with humor, heart, and of course a hefty dose of supernatural mayhem. Abigail Rook never intended to be the mortal bridge between the human and supernatural world, but now the power of the sight and all the chaos that comes with seeing the essential truth of everything, every human, fairy, werewolf, enchanted slip of paper, and municipal building at all times, is hers alone. With this overwhelming new gift, she should be able to solve crimes and help New Fiddleham, New England, find calm in its supernatural chaos. The only problem, she has no idea what she's doing. And New Fiddleham isn't waiting for Abigail to be ready. Local witches and other magical beings are going missing as tensions between human and supernatural residents curdle into a hatred that could tear the city apart. Abigail's fiancé, Charlie, works alongside her to unravel the magical disappearances, but as a shapeshifter, he's under threat as well. Then Abigail's parents appear, ready to take her back to England and marry her off to someone she's never met. Abigail has no choice but to follow her sight, her instincts, and any clues she can find to track a culprit who is trying to destroy everything she holds dear. So this is listed as fantasy, young adult historical fiction, paranormal mystery. I think this one is a maybe for me, but I'm trying to just, say one or the other. What intrigues me about this synopsis is that Abigail already, she has a fiance. She's already in a relationship, so we don't have any of that awkward, her crushing on someone and them developing. They actually plan to be married, and I don't think there's a lot of books that have that in their protagonist, so that's kind of interesting. I'm wondering, I know that it's a standalone novel, and those tend to be, if they're set in the world of a series, they're meant to propel you to read the series itself. I think I'm gonna go ahead and say want to read for this one. Moving on, we have The Breakaway by Jennifer Weiner. I am starting to see a trend where this sort of swoosh or a ribbon or something is central on the cover. That's just something to watch for, I think, as you see covers for new releases. I think that's a trend that we're going to see more and more. This one, I like the way that it was done. I like the little figures along the path. The thing I don't like about this, and this shouldn't come as a surprise to you, but I don't like that the author's name is bigger than the title. That is a pet peeve of mine. I don't think I've read anything else by this author. All right, so here we go. 33-year-old Abby Stern has made it to a happy place. True, she still has gig jobs instead of a career, and the apartment where she's lived since college still looks like she's just moved in. But she's got good friends, her bike, and her bicycling club in Philadelphia. She's at peace with her plus-size body, at least most of the time, and she's on track to marry Mark Medoff, her childhood summer sweetheart, a man she met at the weight loss camp that her perpetually dieting mother forced her to attend. 15 years later, after her final summer at Camp Golden Hills, when Abby reconnects with a half his size Mark, it feels like the happy ending she's always wanted. Yet Abby can't escape the feeling that something isn't right, or the memories of one thrilling night she spent with a man named Sebastian 2 years previously. When Abby gets a last-minute invitation to lead a cycling trip from New York City to Niagara Falls, she's happy to have time away with Mark, a chance to reflect and make up her mind. But things get complicated fast. First, Abby spots a familiar face in the group. Sebastian, the one-night stand she thought she'd never see again. Sebastian is a serial dater who lives 100 miles away. In spite of their undeniable chemistry, Abby is determined to keep her distance. Then, there's a surprising last-minute addition. Her mother, Eileen, the woman Abby blames for a lifetime of body shaming and insecurities she's still trying to undo. Over 2 weeks and more than 700 miles, strangers become friends, hidden truths come to light, a teenage girl with a secret unties their riders in unexpected ways, and Abby is forced to reconsider everything she believes about herself, her mother, and the nature of love. Romance, fiction, chick lit, contemporary adult women's fiction. First of all, I noticed that the name of the camp is called Golden Hills, so now the cover is making more sense as to why they did that color scheme. And also, I think you could see that yellow tape as like a measuring tape, you know, if you're going to measure the size of your waist. So that's really interesting subtext that they have going on there. But honestly, I don't know. Yeah, some of the themes of this one I don't think sit quite right with me. So I think I might skip this one. Let me know if you're planning to read that one. All right, the next one is called There's No Coming Back From This by Anne Garvin. This one I really like the hand lettering style of the title. I like the color kind of gradation from green to dark blue. And then we have kind of like the expected, you know, for a romance novel, we have an illustrated portrait of someone, and it's a woman in a director's chair, it appears, or just an on-set chair holding a dog. So let's see what the synopsis holds. It seems likely that Poppy Lively is invisible to everyone but the IRS. After her accountant absconded with her life savings, newly bankrupt Poppy is on the verge of losing her home when an old flame, now a hotshot producer, gives her a surprising way. Oh my, there is typo in this summary as well. Gives her a job in costumes on a Hollywood film set. It's a bold move to pack her bags, keep secrets from her daughter, and head to Los Angeles, but Poppy's a capable person. How hard can a job in a wardrobe be? It's not like she has a choice. Her life couldn't get any worse. Even so, this Midwesterner has a lot to learn about the fast and loose world of movie stars, iconic costumes, and backlot intrigue. As a single mom, she's rarely had time for watching movies. She doesn't sew, and she doesn't know a thing about dressing the biggest names in the business. Why was she hired for this job? Weird. This synopsis just doesn't make sense. It needs an editor. Okay, so she stumbles on corruption at the center of the film shoot, I assume. She relies on people underestimating her so she can discover who's at the center of it. She feels out of her league. She must decide whether to keep her mouth shut as she's always done, or with the help of a scruffy dog, show the movie makers that they need her unglamorous ways, whether the superstars like it or not. This summary is unhinged. Who wrote this? Surely not the author. I hope not the author, because that doesn't bode well for the book, but it really feels like AI generated text. It just is not coherent. Well, this one is already out. It came out on August 1st. So let me know if you read this one. I think just the idea of this woman who has no experience being hired to be wardrobe for a movie production is just not highly unlikely, folks. Highly unlikely. So I'm going to skip this one as well. So we have 1 hit, 2 skips so far. Not too bad. The next book cover has one of my favorite trends, which is a shop window style cover. The title is A Bakery in Paris, and it's very clear from the cover we are seeing that bakery in Paris. The author's name is Amy K. Runyon. So this is a historical novel set in 19th century and post-World War II Paris, following 2 fierce women of the same family, generations apart, who find that their futures lie in the 4 walls of a simple bakery in a tiny corner of Montmartre. Our dual perspectives are 1870 and 1946. In 1870, we are following Lisette Vignol. In 1946, we're following Micheline Cartier. Lisette Vignol is headstrong, willful, and often ignored by her wealthy parents, awaiting the outcome of the war from her parents' grand home in the Place Royale in the very heart of the city. When an excursion throws her into the path of a revolutionary National Guardsman, destiny is forever changed. She gives up her life of luxury to join the fight for a Paris of the people. She opens a small bakery with the hopes of being a vital boon to the impoverished neighborhood in its hour of need. When the city falls into famine and then rebellion, her resolve to give up the comforts of her past life is sorely tested. 1946, 19-year-old Micheline Cartier is coping with the loss of her father and the disappearance of her mother during the war. In their absence, she is charged with the raising of her 2 younger sisters. At the hand of a well-meaning neighbor, Micheline finds herself enrolled in a prestigious baking academy with her entire life mapped out before her. Feeling trapped and desperately unequal to the task of raising 2 young girls, she becomes obsessed with finding her mother. Her classmate at the academy, Laurentine, may be the only one capable of helping Micheline move on from the past and begin creating a future for herself. Both women must grapple with loss, learn to accept love, and face impossible choices armed with little more than their courage and a belief that a bit of flour, yeast, sugar, and love can bring about a revolution of their own. It comes out, it's already out, August 1st. And yeah, I think no on this one. I think I'm gonna skip that one. Next, so this is California Golden. It's a novel by Melanie Benjamin, August 8th. Okay, so this one's also already out. All right, this one, I like the vintage postcard feel of the colors and the font combination. Then we have some like fun handwriting as well incorporated with that. Southern California, 1960s. Endless sunny days surfing in Malibu, followed by the glittering neon lights at Whiskey A Go-Go. In an era when women are expected to be housewives, Carol Donnelly breaks the mold as a legendary female surfer struggling to compete in a male-dominated sport, and her daughters, Mindy and Ginger, bear the weight of Carol's unconventional lifestyle. So I already feel like a little bit more pulled into this one because we have some feminist themes, mother-daughter relationships, and surfing. The Donnelly sisters grow up enduring their mother's absence, physically when she's at the beach and emotionally the rare times when she's at home. To escape questions about Carol's whereabouts and to chase her elusive affection, they cut school to spend their days in the surf. From her first time on a board, Mindy is a natural, but Ginger, 2 years younger, feels out of place in the water. As they grow up and their lives diverge, Mindy and Ginger's relationship ebbs and flows. Okay, so their paths diverge, they have other experiences. A gripping emotional story set at a time when mothers were expected to be Donna Reed, not Gidget, California Golden is an unforgettable novel about 3 women living in a society that was shifting as tempestuously as the breaking waves. I don't know, I think I'm skipping this one too. The next one is My Name is Iris by Brando Skyhorse. This is a riveting literary dystopian novel set in a near-future America. Iris Prince is starting over. After years of drifting apart, she and her husband are going through a surprisingly drama-free divorce. She's moved to a new house in a new neighborhood and has plans for gardening, coffee clubs, and spending more time with her 9-year-old daughter Melanie. It feels like her life is finally exactly what she wants it to be. Then, one beautiful morning, she looks outside her kitchen window and sees that a wall has appeared in her front yard overnight. Where did it come from? And what does it mean? And why does it seem to keep growing? Meanwhile, a Silicon Valley startup has launched a high-tech wrist wearable called The Band. Pitched as a convenient, eco-friendly tool to help track local utilities and replace driver's licenses and IDs, The Band is available only to those who can prove parental citizenship. Suddenly, Iris, a proud second-generation Mexican-American, is now of unverifiable origin, unable to prove who she is or where she and her undocumented loved ones belong. Amid a climate of fear and hate-fueled violence, Iris must confront how far she'll go to protect what matters to her most. My Name is Iris is an all-too-possible story about family, intolerance, and hope, offering a brilliant and timely look at one woman's journey to discover who she can't and can be. I love the reference to the Michelangelo mural where God is reaching for Adam. I think this one I do want to read. This one also is out now. It came out August 1st, and I think this one is going to be a library borrow. Next, we have A Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. This one is definitely darker than most of the other covers that I was looking at. We've got a repeating pattern of starlings. We've got some hidden keys in here, some little yellow flowers. It's pretty, it's also a little creepy. There's a moon in there. This one is out October 3rd, so not yet. Okay, step into Starling House, if you dare. No one in Eden remembers when Starling House was built, but everyone agrees that it's best to let the house and its last lonely heir go to rot. Starling House is uncanny and ugly and full of secrets, just like its heir. Opal knows better than to mess with haunted houses, or brooding men, but it might be a chance to get her brother out of Eden. It feels dangerously like something she's never had, a home. But Opal isn't the only one interested in the house, or the horrors and wonders that lie beneath it. If Opal wants a home, she'll have to fight for it. She'll have to dig up her family's ugly history and let herself dream of a better future. She'll have to go down into Underland and crawl her way back to the light. A sweeping gothic fairy tale. Alexi Harrow has received the Hugo, the Nebula, and the Locus Award, so her track record in sci-fi fantasy is quite strong. I don't think I've read anything by her though. Let me check that out. Yeah, oh, okay, so she wrote the Once and Future Witches. I've seen that going around on YouTube. Oh, 10,000 Doors of January, I gave 3 stars. I did not love that one, but her writing is not bad. She's got a very flowery prose. So yeah, I think for that one, I like the concept of a girl like returning home to try to save her brother from just being stuck in the house. That's kind of what I'm getting from that. So that comes out October 3rd, and I think I do want to read that one. I'm gonna keep that one as one to read. All right, we have one more. This is another one about a house. It's very clear from the cover. This one is called The Sunset Years of Agnes Sharp, a murder mystery by Leonie Swan. Oh, this is not a new release. This has probably just been turned into a paperback. That's my guess because it was first published in May of 2020. But let's take a look at this. A quirky group of seniors attempts to solve one murder while covering up another with the help of an enterprising tortoise in this twisty, darkly funny mystery from the author of 3 Bags Full. Just from that first paragraph, I'm thinking that reminds me of the Thursday Murder Club, except I believe this series preceded that. We're gonna move forward. It's been an eventful morning for Agnes Sharp and other inhabitants of Sunset Hall, a house share for the old and unruly in the sleepy English countryside. Although they have had some issues misplacing reading glasses, conflicting culinary tastes, decreasing mobility, and unruly grandsons, nothing prepares them for an unexpected visit from a police officer with some shocking news. A body has been discovered next door. Everyone puts on a long face for show, but they're secretly relieved the body in question is not the one they're currently hiding in the shed. Sorry, Lilith. It seems the answer to their little problem with Lilith may have fallen right into their lap. All they have to do is find out who murdered their neighbor, so they can pin Lilith's death on them, thus killing 2 old birds with 1 stone. Cold killer. With their plan sorted, Agnes and her geriatric gang spring into action. After all, everyone likes a good mystery. Besides, the more suspicion they can cast about, surely the less will land on them. To investigate, they step out of their comfort zone into the not-so-idyllic village of Duck End and tangle with sinister bakers, broken stair lifts, inept criminals, the local authorities, and their own dark secrets. This one is mystery fiction, crime, humor, cozy mystery thriller. So I think I do want to read this one, even though it's technically not new. I'm looking forward to reading that one. So see what I think. All right, so that is all of the books that I have on my radar that are either newly out or are coming out in the next few months. I would love to hear from you in the comments if I missed any that you are excited about that are coming out in the next few months. That's it for this video, and still have a little bit more of August to go, so I hope you're enjoying your summer reading, and I will see you in another video soon.